1045 WNXX Jackson, 1049 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours, on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wazan.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy. Our audio producer tonight is Ryan Kennedy. And on video tonight is Taylor Sharp. We'll get you caught up on scores from 5A down to 1A, Division 1 through Division 4. Had some fun in the previous segment. Special thanks to Guarantee Media General Manager, Jesuit alum Gordy Rush, if you heard the radio start to the show. Catholic High earlier tonight here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge defeated St. Paul's late 29-28, and they advance to take on Jesuit next Saturday at Yulman Stadium in Tulane, on the campus of Tulane University, for the Division I state championship. And just as we were signing off that early portion of the 9 o'clock hour, we got a final from down there in Zachary, Jimmy.
Yeah, double overtime. Zachary comes from behind 21-0 to win in double overtime. West Monroe in the first overtime converted a 4th and 11 for a touchdown, kicked a field goal to start the second overtime. Zachary scores right off the bat with a touchdown pass to Charles Robertson. But, man, what a game. Just getting a text in. Ouachita Christian defeats Calvary in overtime. Got it.
40-37.
40-37. Just got that score in. Somebody else was in overtime. Sterlington beat Madison Prep in overtime. Just great quarterfinal, semifinal action tonight.
Yeah.
Either one or the other. It was either tight or it was a blowout.
Yeah. But, I mean.
You know, in the case of that Zachary West Monroe game, situations where, you know, they got themselves down early, and you think maybe you get a score late in that first half. I know we'll talk about it later. To get it close because you're getting that second half kickoff. And the momentum just kind of seemed to continue to go West Monroe's way. And I remember talking as we were getting out of there in the parking lot, and Jimmy said, look, no, they still got a shot. Jimmy was the optimist. I won't say the guy that said maybe they thought, look, every fan would have thought at that point.
Don't discuss with him anything like that anymore. He ends up in Jackson Correctional Center.
No, that was Cade that ended up in Jackson.
Well, I know, I'm saying that, but you can't distract him like that.
Right. Well, here's what happened.
Turn left.
Here's what happened. In a lot of big games, and this is a big ball game for West Monroe and Zachary, a lot of times in a big game, you see somebody have big plays early in the ball game, and you have to weather that storm.
Yeah. And
then you have to settle in and play football. West Monroe jumped out 21-0. It was 14-0. I wasn't worried about it at all. Zachary had the capabilities of coming back real quick on them. They didn't. It was 21-0. Then 21-7. Then you get 24-7. Zachary had a chance right before the half to score. They were on the 22-yard line with probably about 3 minutes or so left in the half. They got a personal foul and then a sack. Turned the ball back over to West Monroe with less than a minute. They ran the clock out.
Right.
So instead of it being 24-14, it was 24-7. If it's 24-14 and Zachary getting the ball, all of a sudden you go score is 24-21. So I wasn't worried about it, but at 24-7, the way it was, it didn't look good for him. But Zachary has the big playability. They came out and got the ball in the second half. With 9:38 left, they had scored, made it 24-13, and then they just evidently dominated the second half. I can't wait to talk to David Brewer.
Let's talk about this real quick. The last 3 times that those two teams have played.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking heart-wrenching.
You had one game that West Monroe dominated 35-14 or something like that.
And then
but the other one was 29-27, 27-24.
They went for 2, and
that's
then
right.
It was the screen that went 80 yards.
Yep.
In the dome, and now tonight.
So hats off to whoever put it together. But there was a pregame video they put up on the screen, and it covered a lot of the highlights from that 2018 season, including that touchdown pass to Chris Hilton, etc. It was all highlights from West Monroe Zachary games and all those tight games you're talking about. So that kind of played a part of this, and you're exactly right. We shouldn't expect anything less because of how competitive these things have been. And you bring up the big playability, and at the same time, West Monroe, hats off. They did some things that maybe people haven't seen. They decided to get the ball in the air.
The new quarterbacks let them have a lot more versatility in getting the ball down the field.
But here's one thing I'll say. When you're playing a good team, what you want to do is take away the best thing that they do, right, Todd? Zachary took away the run. They took away the option game. They had a little power toss that they ran, that West Monroe ran, that they had a little success with. Mm-hmm. So Zachary had done that part of it. West Monroe was able to hit some big plays in the passing game. They have a tight end. I don't know if I put his name there. Oh, Nate Green. He's a sophomore. He's number 81, 6'3", 6'4", 240, and he looks every bit of it. Had probably 3 receptions for, I don't know, Cade, 125, 150 yards
probably
in the
fair.
First half.
Yeah.
He
got
Zachary
behind that defense.
But if you're Zachary, you want them to beat you that way because you're not doing what you do all the time. And they probably made an adjustment at halftime to where they took that part out of it and said, okay, now you're going to have to beat me another way. So the adjustments that Zachary made at halftime, I'm sure were pretty good.
I would say.
And, geez, it was just one hell of a high school football game. We got there early, Cade.
Yeah.
The atmosphere out in the parking lot was great. Both stands, you got to see it. Both stands
West Monroe
were
brought
absolutely
a crowd.
full.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, it was what high school football is about this time of year.
So
congratulations to St. Charles Catholic. They're coming back from Crowley as they beat Notre Dame 17-13. Big win for St. Charles Catholic.
Oh, incredible.
And it's going to be a rematch of last year's Division III championship.
Rematch of the semifinals from last year also.
Let's take a look at scores from around the divisions and classifications, and we'll start first with Class 5A.
Class 5A playoff bracket, served by walk-ons.
Zachary defeats West Monroe in double overtime, 37-34. The 4th seed Destrehan defeats Ruston, 24-10. Ponchatoula over Ouachita Parish, 52-20. And Acadiana, 42. Parkway, 14.
Class 4A playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
Top seed Edna Carr defeats George Washington Carver, 33-7. Westgate and Northwood Shreveport are still in progress. Warren Easton all over Belle Chase, 63-7. And Neville, 41. Cecilia, 7.
Class 3A playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
Sterlington defeats Madison Prep in overtime, 40-34. Church Point over West Feliciana, 28-14. St. Martinville defeats Lutcher, 59-42. And Union Parish all over Abbeville, 45-6.
Class 2A playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Manny all over Rose Pine, 50-12. Avoyles, 46. North Caddo, 28. Amite defeats General Trask, 20-2. And Jonesboro Hodge, 29. Franklin, 28.
Class 1A playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Logansport defeats Basile, 44-14. Oak Grove over West St. John, 34-6. Haynesville shuts out Grand Lake, 17-0. And Homer all over White Castle, 40-6.
The Select Division I playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
Catholic defeats St. Paul, 29-28. And Jesuit defeats Brother Martin, 28-10.
The Select Division II playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
Edie White defeats St. Thomas More, 31-21. And University High 45, Vanderbilt Catholic 14.
The Select Division III playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Lafayette Christian 49, Isidore Newman 7, and St. Charles 17, Notre Dame 13.
The Select Division IV playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
In overtime, Ouachita Christian 40, Calvary Baptist 37, and Southern Lab shuts out St. Frederick 33-0.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
Do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy also joining us on set, fresh off his call of U-High and Vanderbilt Catholic, is our good friend Troy LaBeouf. All right. We're going to go ahead and jump on the GMFS Mortgage Hotline, and we join a victorious head coach, Jerry Phillips from Warren Easton, as they get the win tonight. Big win tonight over Belle Chase, and they get to take on the Neville Tigers in the 4A semifinals. Coach, congratulations on the win, man. Really appreciate some time with you tonight.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Anytime. Love to be with you guys.
Coach, you putting up points before you get off the bus, man. What's going on? You got
Well, I can tell you what happened. He finally figured out a way to get through Baton Rouge without the traffic. That's been the whole point.
You mean he's gotten there on time?
He's got there on time. That's the whole thing.
Nah, man, our kids are clicking at the right time, man. Coach is doing a great job, and the kids are, they're executing, and they're doing exactly what we asked them. So it's been good through the playoffs so far.
Coach, I mean, we're looking at your scores: 59-6, 67-6, 63-7. So it's not one side of the ball carrying the other side. You're getting it from both ends.
Yes, from all three, and special teams also, man. And the kids, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder, man. They have something to prove, and they've been wanting this game next week. And, hope for the game after that.
What was that? Oh, you said you're going to beat Neville 58-0? Let me pass.
I hope so.
Coach, you talking to a Neville grad. Be careful what you say, because it's going to get back to him.
That's what He knows. He knows.
I gave the kids a stat yesterday at practice, man. And, the past few years, that's the only two teams that have beaten us, that has kicked us out of the playoffs or the championship game, been Neville and then the Cards. So, they really took to that, and, they're ready to take on that, that tough assignment next week. And I told them, man, that I wouldn't want it any other way. The only way to play Neville is in Neville.
Coach, the last time we talked to you was the Catholic High game, and we were talking about what your kids were going through with the hurricane, and everything was struggling. You got to be proud of how they just persevered and they came together and clicking at the right time.
Yeah, I'm very proud of them, man. I wish they was clicking early because Catholic beat the hell out of us. But nah, we're doing okay. We're still playing ball, and they figured it out, So hopefully we just keep going.
Early in the year, when I talked with you before the Scotlandville game, you talked about your running game and how you were, Warren Easton is known for throwing the football all over the field, but this year's been a run-heavy team. How has the offense evolved from, I guess that was the second week we played, probably week 3, somewhere up in there, to now? How's your offense done since that time?
Oh, we're still running the ball. We have a stable of backs now. We moved some kids from defense to running back plus we have a senior-heavy offensive line. I think we have 6 seniors on our O-line, so that have been in the program for 4 years. So we're running behind those guys.
So, Coach, I'm trying to remember. You didn't take a trip that was like 4 hours, like to a Neville? Is that going to be different over the years? You have, I understand. Coaches usually like to take a trip during the season, just to kind of get kids accommodated to that. But you're familiar with that trip. How do you make your kids comfortable to go up to Neville and get ready to play?
Oh, man, you can. Neville is a different atmosphere. I tried to do that this year. Week 1, we were supposed to go to Florida and play Navarre, Florida, take a trip out there. But, man, there's no preparing for Neville at Neville. And, none of these kids have ever been up there. A few of my coaches have been, but it's just a different atmosphere, and there's really no preparing for that. So hopefully, we show up and show out, man, but there's no preparing for going on the road and getting off the bus and playing a Neville at Neville. It's a different atmosphere, and it's a great experience.
Well, Todd, I know you're a big Neville guy, but Warren Easton, like I said, these 4 here that are in the brackets right now, those are your 4A teams. Westgate is good enough to beat anybody on any given night. Carr is the team in 4A. Warren Easton, the only one who's beat them is Neville and Carr, and they've given Carr hell for years. Neville is Neville this year.
Jimmy, I'd put the 4 coaches in the semifinals in 4A up against any 4 anywhere.
Oh, yes.
Without a doubt.
And these are evenly matched teams in the 4A division, I think.
Yeah, I'll say this: if I could beat Neville this year and beat Etna Core in the Superdome, I might retire. I'm done.
I thought you were going to say you were going to buy me popcorn.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, you do that, you come up to the suite and party with us.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I will be up there.
Well, Coach, man, look, we appreciate
Yes,
you.
we do.
We appreciate you coming on. And, look, you've been first-class guy, and I really don't know that people understand what Coach Jerry Phillips from Warren Easton and Bryce Brown from Carr and those guys do for the kids in New Orleans. And it's a phenomenal job, not only on the field but off the field. They graduate kids. They keep kids straight. They put them in college. They win ball games. They do everything the right way.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
Man, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys, man.
All right, Coach, good luck. And, hey, look, I might call you next week. Todd Black's not calling you next week if you win because he's going to be pouting like a baby.
I wouldn't be doing that.
So,
it's going to be a good ball game. Yes, sir.
Todd, you need to give me some secrets, man. I need to beat these people, man.
All I know about is a buck sweep and a 30 trap. I don't think they run that no more.
Coach Phillips, let me tell you two things about beating Neville, or one thing about beating Neville. All you got to do is stop A.J. Allen.
Yeah.
The other thing that's harder said than done. The other thing I didn't know that you know if you knew Todd Black held a record at Neville.
No, I did not know that.
He played quarterback up there. He holds the record for the most handoffs
in a season.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you something.
Coach, go enjoy the win tonight, man. We'll hopefully we'll talk to you next
and
week.
Take a picture next to my statue.
That's right.
I will. I definitely will. Thank you, guys.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right, Coach.
Guys, you can when you get to this level, there's so much planning and preparation, and I know that teams are in regiments and routines, but it's so good to hear a coach at least enjoy. And there's the joy in what he's doing, not just the win, but what he's doing for those young men in that team. And no matter how you slice the pie in 4A, I know we could look at combined brackets, but man, these are 4 real good teams in this bracket. And every year since 2013, it seems like you're getting the meat of this bracket when it comes to the second to last weekend. And again, I think we're seeing that.
I think one thing, if you look through, and I don't have the stats in front of me, how many times has Carr stopped Warren Easton from winning a state championship? I know we'll research those numbers this week as to how many times they've been to the semifinals or the finals. And Coach Phillips has done an unbelievable job. And when you hear a coach as happy as he was just now, I mean, that just warms your heart, man.
And that translates to the
right
players.
there was good stuff.
Yeah. It's also one of the best pre-games you'll ever see in the Superdome.
Oh, yeah.
When those two teams get together.
Absolutely.
All right, so I can tell you since the split, here are the semifinal appearances, and we're going to go with Easton's 7 out of 9. Carr's going to be, this is going to be 8 out of 9. I'm sorry. Easton's 8 out of 9. Carr's 8 out of 9. Neville's going to be 8 out of 9. And those are the 3 we were talking about.
It's a 3-horse race, and then you throw in a 4th one. Westgate, I'm telling you, Westgate, they were a winner tonight, 34-32 over Northwood Shreveport, but they had the athletes to play with anyone. Now, the thing with that you do not know about Westgate is what team's going to show up on any given night. But talent-wise, they belong in that 4.
Warren Easton, obviously, as Todd is looking through the brackets and stuff, obviously when I started coaching, that was a team you always watched when I was a young coach. That's who we want to be like. We want to be like the Carrs, the Nevilles, the Warren Eastons, and those teams. And that's 20 years ago when I started, and obviously it's the same way now. So just superior athletes. If you look at their scores, they lost 2 games like you mentioned, Jimmy. But if you look at their scores, they put up big points, and they don't give up a lot of points.
Yeah. Their 2 losses are to Catholic and Carr back-to-back I think. In the car game, if I'm not
20 to 18.
I was going to say it was a one-score game.
It might have been. I was thinking Scotlandville was in there somewhere, but they are. But
they beat Scotlandville right before that.
That's when they showed up 5 minutes before kickoff.
Right.
Because the traffic in Baton Rouge.
They were late getting here for both games. You
Yep.
remember that's why I said if he makes it through the traffic,
We should have had Coach Axe, his big D tackle, Sean Washington, who's the coach at LSU, because the recruits know already who the coach is. That's what I've been told. So he may know.
I think a lot of them do.
Okay. Half the
Todd Black's taking over. I'm going to be his personal assistant.
You got big shoes to fill.
He's going to be the handoff coach.
I meet the qualifications. I work here.
All right. Let's take a break. When we get back, we'll get you caught up on scores here on this Week 13 edition of Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and your view.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is going to be fun tonight.
Class 5A playoff bracket, served by walk-ons.
In double overtime, Zachary defeats West Monroe 37-34. Destrehan a winner over Ruston 24-10. Ponchatoula over Ouachita Parish 52-20. And Acadiana 42, Parkway 14.
Class 4A playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
Edna Carr a 33-7 winner over George Washington Carver. Westgate 34, Northwood Shreveport 32. Warren Easton over Belle Chase 63-7. And Neville 41, Cecilia 7.
Class 3A playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
In overtime, Sterlington over Madison Prep 40-34. Church Point over West Feliciana 28-14. St. Martinville a 59-42 winner over Lutcher. And Union Parish 45, Abbeville 6.
Class 2A playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Manny over Rose Pine 50-12. Avoyles 46, North Caddo 28. Amite 20, General Trask 2. Jonesboro Hodge 29, Franklin 28.
Class 1A playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Logansport over Basile 44-14. Oak Grove 34, West St. John 6. Haynesville 17, Grand Lake 0. And Homer 40, White Castle 6.
The Select Division I playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
Catholic of Baton Rouge 29, St. Paul 28. And Jesuit 28, Brother Martin 10.
The Select Division II playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
Edie White defeats St. Thomas More 31-21. And University High 45, Vanderbilt Catholic 14.
The Select Division III playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Lafayette Christian defeats Isidore Newman 49-7. And St. Charles Catholic 17, Notre Dame 13.
The Select Division IV playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
In overtime, Ouachita Christian 40, Calvary Baptist 37. And Southern Lab 33, St. Frederick 0.
Thanks so much to Adam Skip Cotrayer, who is taking care of scores for us tonight. The rest of the team on assignment. Second to last show of the season for us here on the Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Kate Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Troy LaBeouf as we wind through the semifinals in the select side, quarterfinals on the non-select side, looking through and looking to wrangle in a potential guest. I believe we do have him on the phone as we're looking to connect with our new friend from the Ouachita Citizen. A lot of good games coming up from the North Louisiana area.
Ponchatoula, Acadiana is going to be interesting next week.
Yeah, defense against Ponchatoula's defense is lights out, and Acadiana offense has been hitting their stride, and we're going to get to that bracket in a little bit. I think we're joined by Jake Martin now, who from the Ouachita Citizen up there in North Louisiana, who had a barn burner tonight with Sterlington pulling out the win over the defending state champions Madison Prep in overtime. I'm digging through my notes. What was it, 40 to 34? Jake, are you there?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Man, look, you picked a good one tonight. They had some good football up in North Louisiana tonight.
I know.
Didn't we say, Jake, that the last time we were only going to talk about Neville? Isn't that what we talked about? We did say that last time.
I trust me. We'll talk about Neville next week, man. They got Easton. You know that's a big one. You know, that's a big one. But, yeah, tonight, man, Sterlington and Madison Prep, I would say it lived up to the hype for sure.
You know, Lee Doty, the head coach of Sterlington, he's one of I'm not sure that a lot of people throughout the state realize the job that guy's done. He may be the best coach in North Louisiana right now.
Hey, Jake, What is his quote? Y'all, I watched a little bit of your show. What was the quote he said about the bus? About when Madison Prep gets off the bus?
He's basically saying, I'll paraphrase, I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically saying we can't be intimidated by how pretty they look.
It was really funny. It was good. It was a good quote.
But, you know, he's exactly right. And I like what you said there about Doty because he is Sterlington. Like, that is what Sterlington is. They're not the prettiest. Like, I wrote a column about this game leading up to it, and I said, listen, they've already lost this game on paper, and they'll lose it again in warm-ups because we'll all get out there and we'll look at Madison Prep warming up and we'll go, ooh, look at these 4-stars. Wow, look how big Quincy Wiggins is. And then you look at Sterlington and you're like, you know, Sterlington, they're gritty. You know, they're tough. They're gritty. They'll get down there and they'll be tough and physical. But I don't know if they can hang with these big guys. And every time they go out there and take it to them. And that's what you saw tonight. You saw a gritty Sterlington team. They got down. They were down 27-14. They hit a big pass. It's 27-21. And then Cole Thompson made one of the greatest catches I've ever seen live. It was an interception. He intercepted Zion Chris. He goes high in the air, one-hands it. It's all over Twitter. You can look it up. Just look up Cole Thompson interception. I'm telling you guys, it's worth looking up. It's incredible.
Well, one of the things that I've read, some of the things that you've written, of course, we've started following you pretty regular. Sterlington, from what I understand, are so fundamentally sound. They don't have a lot. I don't know if they have a D1 recruit, honestly. But they're so sound on offense. They're so sound on defense. They're so sound in the kicking game. They're what you call, I guess, a great high school program.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. And you know, John Barr, they're hoping that he can be a D1 guy. They've got an offensive tackle too that they think could be a D1 guy. But for the most part, you're right. Like they're not. This isn't a team that you're looking at a bunch of 4-stars or 5-stars. It's not like Neville. You know, like y'all want to talk about Neville because there's a lot of big names that Neville has, right? But when you look at Sterlington, you don't necessarily have that. But what you do have is what you said, a fundamentally sound team. They just do all the things right. They're very gritty. They run that old school veer, which is, you know, I mean, a lot of Northeastern teams still run that patented veer that Don Showes ran for so many years with West Monroe, but it works. And for the style of play that they have, for the kids that they have, and again, gritty is a word that you're always going to throw out there with Sterlington. They think, hey, we can do this for 4 quarters. Can you? Can you do this with us for 4 quarters? And that's honestly how they beat Madison Prep in 2016 because they had no business beating that Madison Prep team. They had like 13 kids signed, right? And Sterlington, like, I think they had 1. So, I mean, that's just Sterlington football.
We're joined by Jake Martin from the Ouachita Citizen here on the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard show. Staying with games, high-scoring games, it was Ouachita Christian outscoring Calvary tonight 40-37. This Calvary team, you know, certainly throughout the season, but in the playoffs, 70-63, and Ouachita Christian comes in and takes care of business.
How close? Those schools are only a couple miles apart, and to have those 2 games right there is crazy.
So it's funny you mentioned that because my dad's a sports writer too, Joey Martin, and I asked him for Thanksgiving. I was like, hey, man, do you mind coming up there with me? I'll drop you off at OCS, and I'll go cover Sterlington, and you can cover OCS for me. And sure enough, he did. So we both got overtime games tonight, which is pretty funny. But as you called, he was just kind of telling me about it. And basically, Landon Graves had a really big game, and Chad Strickland was running the ball hard. It sounded like Landry Liddy missed a couple key passes in that game, but of course he was still dynamite. You're going to get, you know, some touchdown passes from him. He's that good. But OCS, man, they just, you know, I think the difference with OCS this year has been their defense. Going into that game, the last 8 games, they've given up 40 combined points. They just swarm to the football. And I think they got after Landry Liddy a little bit tonight.
How good is Landry Liddy? I know what Calvary's done. They've put up a gazillion points. They averaging 57 going into tonight. They're the highest scoring team in the state. But the only really tough team that they've played was Rummel. And Rummel won that game, which they should, at 23-14, a close ball game. But how good is Landry Liddy? Because people down here in the South do not get to see him very often.
He's good, man. He really is. They call him the Candy Man because he likes to throw touchdowns, and I think he likes to sprinkle his defenders with starburst after he does it. But he's good. I'll say that. But you know, last year he had so many good weapons, and so I'll give him a lot of credit this year. I had my doubts about Calvary because they lost a lot of those weapons, and that's really what beat OCS last year. They ran these little short passes, and OCS couldn't keep up with these guys on the perimeter. Well, those guys were gone. So I was sitting there wondering, all right, how good is Calvary going to be this year? And then you saw it. I mean, I think they scored over 70 points like 4 times this year. They scored 58 points or more 8 times. And you're right to question some of those opponents, but I think that's still impressive what he's been able to do, kind of pick up where he left off last year.
Before we let you go, let's talk about the third overtime. That's from that area team participated in, and that's Zachary and West Monroe. The last 3 times West Monroe's played Zachary, they just had their hearts ripped out, and tonight was no different.
Yeah, tonight was the same story, apparently. I haven't gotten to talk to any of the coaches yet. I've heard from some West Monroe fans, and again, you know, it's going to be slanted because it's coming from fans. They're a little bit upset with the officiating. Again, I haven't talked to anybody about that yet. But, yeah, apparently they had a commanding lead. I think they were up 24-7 and ultimately losing double overtime.
I can tell you, Jake, we were there for the first half of the game. 21 to nothing. West Monroe completely dominated the first half. Zachary started getting a little momentum going. If the fans were complaining about the officiating, they're probably correct. They were Lake Charles.
Okay.
They were Lake Charles officials, but let me say this: they weren't bad for West Monroe. They were bad. Okay, it wasn't. Officials, we didn't get to see the second half because we come back to the studio, but the game was not a very well officiated game in the first half. I will say that for either team. Officials didn't lose this game.
Hey, Jake, I want to ask you about a team that did lose tonight, but a good football team. They came to Baton Rouge, St. Fred's, and you had a chance to cover those guys this year. They were really good defensive. Were you a little surprised at that score, 33-0 over Southern Lab?
A little bit. I'll say this, you know, kind of looking at some of those Southern Lab players, we were thinking, ooh, you know, I don't know if St. Frederick's got some Jimmy and Joes like that, you know what I mean? But, I mean, St. Fred plays so well defensively. They play so hard. You could say that they kind of overachieved a little bit when you look at how far they got. Am I surprised? A little bit that it got out of hand that much, but we all were kind of picking Southern Lab to win that game just because we saw that there was a big talent disparity. So I think what you saw tonight is that kind of catch up to St. Frederick. St. Frederick's a really well-coached team. Again, they play hard. Thomas Marsal is an excellent linebacker for that team. But unfortunately, they just couldn't get it done.
Real quick, Stephen Fitzhugh up there at Washington Christian. I know we mentioned their game, but we talked more about Calvary. Guy does an unbelievable job.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Just if you want me to talk about Stephen Fitzhugh, I mean, I don't have enough time. I mean,
right.
A guy year in and year out, you know what to expect out of OCS, and to lose a quarterback like Hunter Herring last year, who is, you know, with the Raging Cajuns now, he's down south. To lose a guy like that, who again he was phenomenal, both running the football, passing the football. You just slide Landon Graves in there, and your offense doesn't miss a beat. And then defensively, this guy obsesses over things. I'm telling you, he was driven crazy in the offseason that he gave up 62 points to Calvary Baptist last state championship game. So I know this feels good for him tonight to not only beat them, but also, you know, do it with defense. And obviously that was still a high-scoring game, but it isn't like it was a shootout like it was a year ago. His defense got off the field against Landry Liddy, and that just goes to show you, like, how good of a coach he is. And, you know, he's had seasons before, too, where he's taken over play-calling duty for defense because he's had some changes mid-season, and he did it without a hiccup. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Stephen Fitzhugh and the program that he runs at OCS.
But Jimmy calls him chopped liver compared to Lee Doty.
No. Look. You know, Washita Christian is a program that's another one. They don't put out any. Very seldom. Mark Laird was probably the best player to come out of Washita Christian as a receiver, and he played baseball at LSU, as far as I can remember. But the names change, but the results stay the same. And when you, and, I mean, that's the best compliment you can give a guy.
Jake, I came up there last week with Ascension Catholic. OCS is a class program.
Yes,
they took care of Ascension Catholic. Anything they needed, obviously, they beat them on the scoreboard. But anything that was needed for our broadcast crew, for anybody, they took care of. Coach Fitzu led the way. Did you get anything on Wiley? We heard he kind of may have gotten hurt late in that game.
Yeah, you know what? Did Tristan Molly ever come back in, Dan? He did not come back in. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Dad when we get on the phone about
Outstanding
that.
player. Outstanding player.
He's an outstanding player. He's so smooth. He's an Air Force commit. And, of course, you know, that's how good he is. A lot of you mentioned Mark Laird. A lot of OCS fans were asking, "Hey man, is he as good as Mark Laird was?" And Stephen Fitzy wasn't touching that. I said, "Look, I don't say anybody's the best I've ever coached or anything like that, but he's that good to kind of warrant those conversations."
He's Jake Martin, doing an outstanding job for the Washita Citizen, helping us out covering North Louisiana. Jake, we look forward to our conversations every week with you, man. Appreciate your time tonight.
Hey, I enjoy it, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Jake.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll get back to wrap up Hour 1, playoff Round 3 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep School Board Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months.
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Coming up in about 10 minutes from right now, we'll welcome on the head football coach of the Zachary Broncos, getting a win in double overtime.
That should be an interesting
tonight
conversation.
over West Monroe. So we look forward to Coach Brew here in just a couple of minutes. Looking at Class 2A and Class 1A, kind of chalk, Manny Avoyles, Amite, Jonesboro, Hodge, and then on the 1A side, Logansport, Oak Grove, and Haynesville over Homer, or Haynesville and Homer. Tough one for our pals over there in Grand Lake.
The one surprise in 2A, not a surprise that Amite won. Amite beat General Trask 20-2.
Just not much.
The surprise was the score.
Yeah.
General Trask came into the game averaging 52.5. They had scored 40 or more points in 10 out of their 11 games. Wydette Williams, and they have a running back, and his name's slipping my mind right now, but they were very explosive. For Amite to hold them to 2 points tells me that Amite is a real deal. Now, Amite 8-2 going into the game, 9-2. The difference is Amite, those 2 losses were forfeits. They are undefeated on the field. They were giving up 11.6 going into tonight. That tells me a whole lot about Amite.
20-2 at half, and that's the way it remained.
Again, Torino Wells, again, unbelievable job at General Trask.
Absolutely. Amite just plays a little bit different brand of ball, man, and that's one of those games that you want to see those guys compete in, and when that's going to be their next step, right? The Mannies, the Amites, and those type of teams.
Jonesboro Hodge, they'll play them in the semifinals. Amite, for only the second time, will be at home hosting Jonesboro Hodge. Manny should beat Avoyles in the top half of the bracket. The Amite Manny game should be a very physical football game for the championship.
Along the lines of competing, hats off to the boys over there at Franklin. 29-28, and in the season they had, and just
28 players, I think it was they had.
Right.
15 seed,
28 players, 4 wins in the last 4 years before Coach Tremaine Johnson took over that program. And again, he took that program over at 25 years old. That's incredible.
When scheduling comes around, they get a call from everybody. I promise you.
Not
everybody
anymore,
wants to play
right?
them.
That's
Not
right.
anymore.
Right. And Todd found out Todd is the master of digging up something, like Grand Lake. He dug up that story, dug up the Franklin story, dug up the General Trask story. That's high school football, man. That's what it's about, is those small community schools coming out of nowhere and being successful.
What's crazy about his story that I left out as you're giving me those compliments is that the year he took over, he took him to the quarterfinals and lost. The year he took over, he took him to the quarters. And they've only won 4 games prior to that. And we're talking, he was such a good guy. I did send that to his principal, and I said, look, he did a great job, and so it was fun.
Guys, as we head to break here to wrap up hour 1 on a somber note, former LHSA Commissioner Tommy Henry passed away, and so our thoughts and prayers certainly with the Henry family as someone who spent a good deal of time working with high school athletics. And I know, Troy, you've got some notes as well.
Yeah, one of his former employees, Mitch Small, the marketing director, Tommy hired him as the first time full-time marketing director. He started the Prep Classic poster contest, delivering tickets to semifinal winners to sell on the campus for the week of championships. the best day you guys know was the Sunday before the playoffs started. Got everybody together at the Hyatt. You change your VHS tapes. You find out who you played that day. None of the huddle and all that stuff. So Tommy Henry, I know a lot of people may have had their thoughts and their reasons, maybe not to like him, what have you, but I thought he was a true leader for the LHSA.
He had a vision. And love him, hate him, disagree with him, like him, agree, whatever you want to call. I thought he was good for the LHSA for a long time. Now, there are things that you can disagree with, but overall, good man.
84 years old.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, Your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wazan.
Zachary head football coach David Brewerton set to join us, coming off a big win at home against West Monroe. But first, let's get you caught up on all the scores. We'll start first in Class 5A.
Class 5A playoff bracket, served by walk-ons.
Zachary will host Destrehan, and Acadiana will travel to Ponchatoula.
Class 4A playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
Westgate will travel to Edna Carr, and Neville will host Warren Easton.
Class 3A playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
Sterlington will host Church Point, and Union Parish will travel to St. Martinville.
Class 2A playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Avoyelles will travel to Manny, and Jonesboro Hodge will travel to Amite.
Class 1A playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Oak Grove will travel to Logansport, and Haynesville will travel to Homer.
The Select Division I playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
Jesuit and Catholic will play at Ullman Stadium in Tulane.
The Select Division II playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
University High will play Edie White, Cajun Field, Lafayette.
The Select Division III playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
St. Charles will play Lafayette Christian, Ullman Stadium in Tulane.
The Select Division IV playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Southern Lab will face Ouachita Christian at Cajun Field in Lafayette.
Thanks so much to Skip helping us get all of our scores tonight. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy, along with our special guest tonight in studio, Troy LaBeouf. Let's go ahead and jump on the GMFS Mortgage Hotline, and joining us now, a victorious head coach, David Brewerton from over at Zachary. They get the win in a couple of overtimes, 37-34 over West Monroe. Coach, congratulations on this win. You guys are able to survive and advance. Boy, this one had a little bit of everything in this ball game.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Coach, before we get into the game, we had a debate outside, and it's on our Twitter, on Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. It's on my Twitter, Todd's. The great debate before the game was whether you like your chicken wings breaded or naked. And so that's the debate. So you'll have to reply on Twitter to that. But
I'd say marinated.
Marinated?
Yep, with sauce that's made by one man that I know of.
My point.
Daniels.
The point
Jack Daniels
of
barbecue sauce.
Jack Daniels is good on chicken. That's right. But the pregame, Coach, the atmosphere when you go into the stadium, you look on the Zachary side, you look in the parking lot, you look across the side on the West Monroe side, for a Black Friday crowd, it was it was phenomenal tonight, atmosphere in Zachary.
Yeah, when you think about hosting, deep playoff games, you certainly dream of having those kinds of situations where a storied program is coming to your place and have your people show up the way the Zachary community did and the way the West Monroe community traveled. I mean, it was awesome to see a complete packed house looking across the field at them, and just a crazy football game. About to go into overtime, and I was talking to the referee who was on our sideline, and I just kind of smiled. He said, "What, Coach?" I said, "Are you kidding me? What a football game, huh?" He goes, "I wouldn't rather be anywhere else." I said, "Well, you and me both." So just kind of one of those nights, one of those nights where you had to just keep fighting, stay in it long enough to give yourself a chance to win, and that's what we did.
I think they had a lot of fans that would rather seen them be somewhere else, but that's besides the point.
Right.
Right. In our preview show, and I know y'all don't get to listen to it because it's right before you go on the air. our segment about the game of the week comes on about 6:30, and Kate had asked me during that part of it, what happens if Zachary falls behind? Will they panic or not? And my response was no, they would not panic because they have a quick score offense. They're never out of a ball game. And his last thing, he asked me what I thought it was, and I said, well, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet on Brew. And that is exactly what I told him. Your team, honestly, got dominated in the first half. But your kids showed resiliency. They had a chance to get back in it right before the half at 24-7. You had the ball on the 22-yard lines. You got a personal foul. You got a sack. You didn't get any points with a chance. But your kids never quit. And at 24-7, people, when I walked out, I saw people out there tailgating, this game's over, this game's over. I said, y'all, this game is not over at 24-7.
Right.
With the way Zachary's built, this game is not over. Your kids showed unbelievable heart, character, whatever you want to say about it. Poise, Todd brought up just now. Unbelievable.
Yeah. We do have traditionally we do have a quick strike offense, but I'll tell you tonight that the points that we scored were on drives, and long drives, and at a halftime at 24-7, just talking with the guys, it wasn't like total craziness in the locker room or anything. It was just, hey, look, we've got 2 turnovers that gave them 14 points. We didn't cover the tight end twice on option pass, and they're running down the middle of the field wide open. And then, we just didn't do what we had to do in the first half. But the bottom line is, against West Monroe, you have to stop the run. And I still, even in the first half, I still believed we were stopping the run. Yep. I mean, and that when you talk about us getting physically dominated in the first half, I don't totally agree with that, because I think our defense did what we've been asking them to do all week, and that was stop the run, make them throw. Well, that's what our front six was doing, right? We just didn't cover it over the top.
You're exactly right, and Todd and I talked about this in the very first segment before y'all, maybe while y'all were even still playing. When you want to take something away from someone, you want to take away what they do the best. And Zachary, and I said that, Zachary took away the run game early in the game. They probably hit 3 or 4 big plays and probably had 150 yards or so passing, I'm guessing, in the first half without looking at stats.
No doubt.
And if you're gonna say Zachary beat me passing, you're gonna take your hat off to him and tip your hat and say, hey, they beat us.
Yeah. But I'll also say this: our receiving core, offensively, our receiving core was coming off the field the entire first half. And they're like, Coach, we are getting literally tackled in our routes. It couldn't get off, and we had some balls that were there, just couldn't make a play on them, and it felt like we were being tackled. And we finally got a call right before half on a holding penalty in the back end of it. And I'm telling you, in the second half, there was probably 6 or 7 of them called. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like their DBs could run with our guys, but in the first half, they were being allowed to just be really physical and hold on. Whereas in the second half, I think referees started seeing that a lot more and started making a bunch of calls on it. And that was big for us in the second half, because it began to open up our offense a little bit, where we could complete some stuff down the field and do what we need to do. I'll tell you this, we're still down 2 scores going into the fourth quarter. So on our last drive, on our second to last drive, we've got to, we've got to score, and we've got to get a 2-point conversion to get this thing to 3 points. So we score a touchdown, and we run a little 2-point play we work on, got it in. So now it's 24-21, and 2 or 3 minutes left in the game, and they drive it all the way down inside our territory, and we end up getting the ball back, and Eli leads us on a great drive down the field, and got it. We actually got it down to the 3-yard line, and with 1 second on the clock, we're on the 3-yard line, and I called a timeout. And I talked to my coordinator on the headset. I said, listen, West Monroe is built for overtime. They are built for 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. Right? That's what they do. I said, we're not really built that way. I said, what do you think right here? You know, do you think we can get one in? Right? He said, Coach, I'm telling you, our offense is it's just one little thing away. I mean, we're so close on so many things that are there. He said, I'm telling you, I feel good in overtime. Kick the field goal right here. So I said, okay. So we kicked it with 1 second left to send it into overtime. We got to go on offense first. We score. They come on offense, and we've got them with a 4th and 15. And he throws a prayer into the back of the end zone. They come down with it. So now we got to go in the second overtime. And they kick a field goal. We throw speed out right front pylon. We make a catch, and the place goes absolutely nuts. And that's the ball game.
So, you know, the one thing you said, y'all were talking about panic, but when you're in that spot, it's easier said than done because you're like, all right, it's 21-0. As a coordinator, I should say. And is there times that you have to say, all right, hey, we're good. Just settle down, stay with your game plan. Because that was what Jimmy would do with me. Because you get that sense of urgency that you've got to get something going in the right direction. You can't score 21
on a play.
Right. See, I heard that crap all day. I didn't need to talk to you right now. I'm talking to Coach Brewer in here. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, is that kind of – I think it just kind of gets difficult. But then because you're not sure if the defense is going to be able to hold, and then but once you start seeing the ebbs and flows of a game that's turning your way, it kind of makes you a little bit more comfortable. But before then, I think it's easier said than done type mentality.
Yeah, you know, just some freak plays that happened in the first half where – you know, turnovers that happened, they weren't like, okay, you get tackled and you put the ball on the ground. It was more along the lines of catching a ball and bang, bang, and all of a sudden the ball shoots out during the catch and there's a guy there waiting on. You know, those type things that are really kind of uncontrollable sometimes, and then they're putting them in so quick that you're worried about your rhythm on offense. And there was one drive we had in the first half where I said, all right, listen, I want to go back to the run game. Let's establish the run, then throw it off the run. You know, we had a great drive. We went right down the field and scored. But the problem is at that point you're down 3 scores already, so you really feel like you got to start throwing it around a little more than you actually do. And I think once we settled in, like I said, the first drive of the second half was huge for us. We came out the locker room, had a good return, put a great drive together, and now it's 24-13, and feel like you're right back in the football game.
Coach Rouge, Troy LaBeouf here. So, obviously, offensively, you guys got it going in the second half, but I want to talk about your defense. You only gave up 10 second-half points, so talk about your defense a little bit because, I mean, to me, that's what won the game for y'all.
Oh, without question, and it has all year. I mean, I think when you look at our scores and the numbers that we put up offensively, when you really dig into each one of those games, you'll see that the defense certainly put our offense in positions to make plays, and they did it again tonight, you know, and to be honest with you, like I said, in that first half, the defensive plan was there. I mean, listen, hey, you have the tight end if he releases. Okay, well, you get sucked up on that option and they complete something over the top. So I felt like our defense in the second half, we gave up 3 points the second half of regulation, and we give up a prayer on 4th and 15 in overtime. So I guess we gave up 10 in the second half, but I really felt like holding those guys to 3 points in the third and fourth quarter allowed our offense to get us back in the game and subsequently led to overtime. But you're right. I agree with you 100% on these.
Coach, on the special teams side, it felt like ever so close. You guys were just close to breaking one, whether it be a kickoff return or a punt return, and your punter stood in there and kicked a real good punt, and boy, he took a hit. Hope he's doing all right. You know, just the toughness they showed, the battle of field position and how they played. If you could talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. So, I talked to him after I talked to the entire team after the game about the fact that, you know, lesser teams at 21-0 in the first quarter, you're getting beat by 50, right?
Yes.
And I never really – so I heard a few guys upset on the sideline, but I didn't hear I didn't see heads moping and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this group has just played in so many big games. Our program has played in so many big games that we're just used to being in situations like that. You know, I was talking with one of my coaches a minute ago, and you know, we've been here 8 years, and this is the 7th semifinal that we're going to play in next week. You know, and I just think that our kids have played deep in the playoffs for so many years that they're used to these crazy games later on. But the grit and the determination that our guys played with tonight, while not playing great, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You got to figure out how to win those kinds of games if you're going to make a playoff run. And we certainly had to do it last week, and we certainly did it tonight. But you know, our guys, you know, love to play that kind of physical game with West Monroe. Every time we play them, it's kind of one of those things. You know, our senior receiver tonight, Charles Robinson, he was a freshman the last time we played West Monroe, and he watched the state championship game on TV at his house, and we were talking about it this week, and he said, "Coach, man, that game was so intense. It was so physical. I always wanted to play against these guys, and now they're coming to our house." I said, "Yeah, they are. They are." And that's what you get with West Monroe, a really well-coached, physical football team, and you got to be prepared to bang for 5 quarters with them, and that's what we had to do tonight.
You're talking about playoffs, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Knowing you probably are, but this moves Zachary to 26-3 in the playoffs since 2015. That number is stupid.
Wow.
I mean, that is an incredible number. Coach, real quick, did Wisham ever play?
Played one down.
One down. Okay.
And I never felt good about it, and I wanted somehow figure out how to get through this game without having to use him and see if we can get him back next week.
Right. Well, Coach, tell Coach Steve Thomas I got him covered. He'll know what I'm talking about. And Sunday at walk-ons, y'all good? Miss Diane said you already. Miss Diane said you already, and that's your boss.
Yeah, whatever. Sounds good to me. Let's roll.
All right. We'll see you Sunday afternoon. Coach, man, look, congratulations. Hey, don't matter how pretty it is, how ugly it is, a win's a win, and you're on to the semifinals.
You better believe it. Thank you guys very much. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, bro.
The amount of experience they have on their coaching staff is a couple of years ago, it was up there pretty good. I mean, it pays off in these type of games.
You look at Jerry Garrydale. You look at Drew Nettles. You look at Chris Carrier. You look at Steve Thomas, the DC. You look at Kenny Langlois, the offensive coordinator. Those guys have been together, especially the offensive and defensive coordinator, been with Coach Brewerton from when he started at Livonia. I mean, it's been incredible, and they just have a whole lot of good things going. And you know, I've always said this: you kind of take on the personality of your coach, your team does, and Zachary does that, and Coach Brew's perfect fit for Zachary.
So what was how many times have they gone to the semifinals now?
7 out of 8.
7 out of 8, and last year they lost in the quarterfinals.
So how many extra seasons of practice
has
this team get? He talked about 82, big wide receiver making great plays, was a freshman. I mean, the amount of times that they've repped and played extended football into December. And
well, if you go to the semifinals, I mean, that's 4 extra practices. So let's not count the championship years, what they've been 3 years.
Right.
So what you get 5. If you go 2 extra years to the finals, that's basically a whole nother year of practice.
Go to Louisiana Prep on Twitter and vote breaded or naked wings.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, incredible.
Jordan Charlet,
incredible.
Mike Kimball. I'm forgetting the other guy's name. I first met him. Hitman was out there crying. But yeah, good, great night in Zachary.
Incredible atmosphere. Both sides showed up and showed out. Let's take a timeout. We'll get you caught up on what's happening in the semifinals and the championship rounds next week when we get back here on this Week 13 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and your view.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pop?
I'll take a little cheese.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Class 5A playoff bracket, served by walk-ons.
The 4 seed Destrehan will travel to the number 1 seed Zachary Broncos. And Acadiana, the 7th seed, will travel to Ponchatoula.
Class 4A playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
The 5 seed Westgate Tigers will travel to top seed Edna Carr Cougars. And Neville will host Warren Easton.
Class 3A playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
5 seed Church Point will travel to the number 1 seed Sterlington. And the 7 seed Union Parish will travel down to St. Martinville.
Class 2A playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Number 4 seed Avoyelles will travel to Manny. And number 7, Jonesboro Hodge will travel to Amy.
Class 1A playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Number 4 seed Oak Grove will travel to the top seed Logansport. And Haynesville, the 6th seed, will travel to 2nd seed Homer.
The Select Division I playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours.
In the Division I Select State Championship, 2 seed Jesuit, and 1 seed Catholic High Baton Rouge.
The Select Division II playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbert.
The Division II Select State Championship, the 2 seed University High Cubs, Edie White Cardinal.
The Select Division III playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
In the Select 3, the Division III Select State Championship, the 3 seed St. Charles Comet, and the top seed Lafayette Christian.
The Select Division IV playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Division 4 Select State Championship, the Southern Lab, and a Ouachita Christian.
The Select Division IV playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
I've been doing business with Louisville for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
The Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, Troy LaBeouf sitting in with us as well.
Always good to have Troy on.
Mm-hmm.
Good to be here, guys.
How's Coach Travis?
It's good. It's my color guy tonight. It's the first time he ever did it. He was excited doing a U-High game, Vanderbilt game. He said, man, I can get used to doing this.
How was that game?
You know, Vanderbilt has gone through a lot this season.
Yes.
Hurricane Ida. Their defensive coordinator, Charlie Cryer, passed away during the season, earlier in the season. I think it was around week 4.
Tommy Minton does a great job.
Really good staff. Got a good friend of mine that I coach with at Central Lafourche that's on that staff, Tommy Boudreau.
Coach Villavasso's on that staff. Huh?
Coach Vilavasso had a chance to talk to him as well. So he's in the private industry, but he's a CECP coach. But I tell you, Andy Martin and his staff, they're very good as well. There's a lot of good football players on that U-High team. You guys already know that. Y'all covered them a bunch of times. I came away super impressed with the running backs, Graham and Beck. They both run the football very hard. The receivers are explosive. But the offensive and defensive line of U-High, very good. Very good. They get after people.
They will have a chance to play another solid defense in Edie White in that state championship game. So we'll look forward to seeing that. Let's go ahead and jump on the GMFS Mortgage Hotline as we join a victorious head coach from Ponchatoula, Coach Hank Tierney, as Ponchatoula gets the win over Ouachita Parish and advance to the semifinals in Class 5A to take on Acadiana, and what looks to be a very good one in Class 5A. Coach, thanks so much for your time tonight. We really appreciate it.
Hey, happy to be here.
First off, legendary Coach Hank Tierney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you go back to his Shaw days and things like that, all the guy's done is win. He's closing in on 300. I don't know exactly the number, and I don't even know if Coach does, but what he's done everywhere he's been has been phenomenal, and I think he's done a really good job of adjusting to the times. You know, he was a straight veer guy at Shaw, straight veer guy at Ponchatoula, changed with the times with T.J. Finley. I'm not sure what they're doing this year, but Coach, just talk about your career a little bit over that long of a period of time and the differences from back then to today.
Well, actually, you hit the nail right on the head. I am just very old.
I didn't say that.
Been coaching for a long time. Started in 1977 at Archbishop Shaw. Coached a couple of really great LSU players, Nacho Albagamo and Brian Sancho and Mickey Gidry on my first team.
Wow.
Very fortunate to inherit those kind of players. And one of the best players I ever coached was a couple of years later, the current receiver coach at LSU, Mickey Joseph. So I was very blessed to have coached a lot of really good players at Shaw. And then in 2001, moved on to West Jefferson. Was there for about 6 years. Came to Ponchatoula in 2008 as an assistant. Wanted to be an assistant for the rest of my life. 3 years later, the head coach decided he didn't want to coach no more. So I became the head coach again, and now I'm very fortunate again to have a great coaching staff and have a bunch of really talented players who are playing very well and really played good tonight and thoroughly beating a good Ouachita Parish school.
Coach, you've over the past couple of years, you've had a very good offense.
This year you have a defense to match it. Talk a little bit about those guys and how well they played for you this year.
I'd say the defense has carried us the entire year. Now, we played really good on offense tonight. We have a really good running back who gets about 200 yards every Friday night, Greg Johnson. But our defense has been outstanding. Last week they scored 3 defensive touchdowns in our win over John Eric. Tonight they held a very good Washington team to 14 points for 3 quarters before we substituted. So, a lot of turnovers, led by Jacoby Matthews, LSU. At one time, LSU committed a bunch of other really good defensive players. And we're hitting on all cylinders right now. We're playing good on both sides of the ball, and our kicking game has been really good.
A little bit of information about that defense to expand on what Todd said. Going into tonight, Ponchatoula had held their opponents in 9 out of their 10 games to 14 points or less. And like I said, he gave up 14 tonight, and then the backups give up a few more points. 6.4 points a game. Coach, do you know how many defensive touchdowns y'all have scored? Because it's a bunch.
It is a bunch. I think it's approaching double figures, honestly. And then we had another one tonight. We had a pick 6 tonight. And then we also they onside kicked and we scooped it and ran it back for a touchdown. So there's a defensive kid that did that as well. So I tell you what else we've done. We've run 7 punch back for touchdowns. So our defense is playing really, really good. Lights out. Our kicking game, both kicking and receiving and returning, has been good. And we're playing in Wrecking Rams next Friday. So we gotta play a little defense.
You go back a couple years ago, and this wasn't that long. 3 or 4 years ago, I can remember a game at Denham Springs that was like 70 to 58 or something like that, where
that was
Ponchatoula
that's right.
Ponchatoula didn't play defense. I mean, it was looked like a Pascal out there. No offense, but that's what it was. And now here you are allowing less than a touchdown a game.
You're right. You're absolutely right. The game you're talking about, we had 680 yards, and Denham Springs had 610 yards. So there was absolutely no defense played that night. But we committed ourselves the last couple of years to being better on defense. We took Jacoby Matthews, who was our quarterback last year, and the district MVP, and we made him a safety with the express purpose, and that's what he's going to play in college. The express purpose of making our defense better. And he's brought a whole lot to that unit. And then we've returned 8 starters from last year. So it's really been good. It's been really, really fun to watch him play. In fact, they gave up a touchdown right before half on a 60-yard drive, and I was like stunned, like, we never do this. We kind of got forward until we played defense.
Coach Turney, Troy LaBeouf here. Coach, I was a first-year head coach in 1995 at Central Lafourche High School, and we were the district champs. I was all excited as a young coach, and we got to play you guys in the first round as a wild card, and I'll never forget that. I think it was like a 3-0 game. I don't know if you remember that. And
I definitely remember. We were a very good team that had some injuries early. That was the only reason we were a wild card. We ended up really being a good team. Derek Joseph was a quarterback, and then had a bunch of good players on that team. I remember going down there and playing an undefeated Central Lafourche team. I remember that.
No doubt about it. Coach, as you looking ahead a little bit, I know obviously you hadn't watched film yet, but Acadiana, you face a team that does something that you guys, that you kind of hung your hat on for years, running the football with the veer. Is that going to be something you can kind of look back and be a help to your team? I know obviously you got a lot of good coaches on the staff. Is that something you're going to be talking about all week? Hey, guys, this is what's going to happen,
Yeah, we ran it. We ran the split back veer from 1985 to like 1999 with a bunch of Joseph boys playing quarterback. Ian Vance, Derek, and all of them. And then in 1999, we went to the double slot option, which is just another form of option, the Army, Navy, Georgia Tech option with Sharon Carey at quarterback. So we're very familiar with option football. I have only ever run the option until T.J. Finley came to Ponchatoula. And then, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. We had a 6'6" kid who could throw the ball all over the place. So we changed and tried to do what T.J. could do. And then T.J. graduated. We put Jacoby at quarterback and went back to the option. So I do have a huge, huge background in the option. And 3 of the guys that coach on our defense played for me at Jaw. 2 of them were offensive linemen, so they played offensive line in the Bear offense. So we know a lot about it. But listen, we played Acadiana a bunch of times in the last few years, and as much as we knew about that, obviously didn't help us too much. we still couldn't stop them. So
not many people can, Coach.
We'll have to do a great job. We're good friends with their staff. We played them 6 times, and they beat us every time in the playoffs, and we beat them every time in the regular season. So it ought to be a great, great night. I just talked to Matt, the Acadiana coach. He already asked me to send him 500 tickets. So there'll be no seats available Friday night in the Swamp.
You're not going to send him 500, just send him 100.
Well, I'm going to send him 150 West Bank. I had it wrong. But they're going to bring a great crowd, and it ought to be a great, great game with the winner going to the Dome. So it's Friday, a week away. I'm already excited.
Well, Coach Hank Tierney is our guest, head coach at Ponchatoula. Coach, more maybe than the wins, the honors over your career, I hear the way you're talking about former players, whether in their professional career, whether as coaches. At the end of the day, is that what holds the most weight for you as far as looking back at your time as a coach, seeing the success that came through those who you worked with closely?
Absolutely. No doubt. Without a doubt, the greatest satisfaction I have achieved in coaching is watching young men develop both as football players and as young men, and see them go on to be great husbands, great fathers, and some of them be great athletes, but way more so just great people, and that do well in a good society. Just a positive influence in society, and that's been rewarding to me. And I think to any coach, who really is in it for the right reason would say the same thing.
I do want to say this: if you are an Acadiana fan and you're going to the Swamp, make damn sure you bring bug spray, because the mosquitoes, that is the biggest home field advantage. You have no idea. There's sewer treatment ponds right behind the visitor bleachers. I've been there. I have been on those bleachers.
There'll be no spraying this week.
You better bring some spray over there. But Coach, first time Ponchatoula has reached the semifinals since 1952.
I was told that today.
Do what?
I was told that today by a guy who was on that team.
Yeah. What does that say about the strides your program's made?
It says a lot. We have a special bunch of young people that is our senior class that they came up all through the junior high school, and they've really never lost very many games. And sometimes in public schools you don't always get your kids that you have in 9th grade and not playing in 12th. Well, we've been very fortunate to keep our kids in the program, and we have every one of them, and it's an outstanding bunch of kids. We start like 16, 17 seniors, and they are used to winning and have won their entire career. So, they're really poised to take the next step, and it's like you said, to go somewhere where Ponchatoula has never been, and we're really excited about it. Although Acadiana has something to say about it, but we're very, very excited to be playing next Friday night in the semifinals, and I know the town is excited. When we left today, we went down 22 and got on 55 at the other end of town. They had hundreds of people out on Highway 22 with signs, just cheering and going crazy. So
that's awesome.
It got our kids pumped up, and I'm sure, last person turned the lights out Friday night on your way. It'll be that kind of crowd.
Well, that's what makes high school football great, Coach, and we appreciate a couple minutes of your time tonight. Best of luck next week.
Okay, guys, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
They're on the bus.
What a treasure.
They're on the bus, and so the kids are either sleeping or you threatened them.
What a treasure.
You think he remembered that game I told him about? He probably did.
Absolutely does.
I'm one of those guys that I can remember the game, but I can't remember pieces of it like these guys. But when you talk to a Hank Tierney, you talk to a Frank Monaco, which we love to interview. You talk to Louis Cook and John Curtis, those older guys who we have so much respect for, and the Dale Winers. And
Coach Mastretta.
You go on and on with those guys, and just
they can pull out yardage from this game.
What those guys remember is just absolutely phenomenal.
I just couldn't. I didn't realize he coached Terry Joseph too. I talked to Coach Joseph the other day. He's a defensive backs coach at Texas now.
Yeah.
So I mean, didn't know he coached him.
Excellent matchup next week. Ponchatoula, Acadiana, and yeah, I saw that stat earlier today. 1952 since the last time the Green Wave made a trip to the semifinals. So, in just a second, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we get back, we'll do one more chance to kind of set the scene.
Quick update that I know everybody listening is waiting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
West Side 55, Beaver Creek 55 in 5 overtimes. We'll get a final before we go off. We will get a final before we go off air.
Stay tuned. On the backside of this break, a West Side final here on the Week 13 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and your view.
I've been doing business with Louisville for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening. with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite.
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and special guest Troy LaBeouf joining us here tonight as we are deep into the football playoffs. It is real close to that time of the year, and if you aren't already prepping for baseball season, you're probably close to being behind. So,
man, I heard they got a good camp going on down there.
Oh, man, they do.
Heard that.
TDP, baby.
TDP, Total Diamond Performance. See right here, watch. That looks like Jimmy would teach me how to do that. That's over at Ascension Tiger Cages. That was the Thanksgiving camp. But they've got another one coming up during the Christmas holidays. It's 2 sessions, December 20th through the 23rd. And then you have another one, the 27th through the 30th. 2 opportunities to get rid of your kids, to get them to get a little bit better at baseball. There's comprehensive hitting and infield instruction that will take place. And the one thing that's unique about these guys, and it's really Matt Mistretta's major, is the mental aspect of the game. He works on it. Jackson left my house one day. He had a notepad going to baseball practice. I'm like, what are you doing? But that's what they're working on, the mental side of the game. And I think it's huge. I think it's huge with baseball because kids get out there and they daydream, but you got to know where the ball's going every second, where you're going every second. They can take care of you over at Total Diamond Performance, matt.j.mistretta@gmail.com.
Real quick, Cade, St. Charles, Notre Dame. I know Todd went and spoke at the St. Charles quarterback club, huddle club, whatever this week, but a few of their defensive stats. 7 shutouts going into tonight. They win 17-13 over Notre Dame. They've allowed less than 10 big plays on the year. And when we call a big play, most coaches determine that as a 15-yard run or a 10-yard pass. They've allowed 10 plays, less than 10 on the year. They get off the field at 70% of third downs. They're plus 12 in turnovers. Their average field position for their offense is the plus 48-yard line. That is absolutely incredible.
In the 2 years they played Newman and Arch Manning,
shut him down.
Shut him down.
Jason
Brown is the defensive coordinator. Of course, Wayne Stein had moved up to head coach, but Jason is one of the best around. I know Wayne is good, so the combination of those two is outstanding.
Yeah, we're going to move quickly through this. Ruston again loses to Destrehan 24-10. Ruston had their chances, 2 possessions inside the Destrehan 10-yard line and got 0 points tonight. Ponchatoula Rose, Zachary, unbelievable game. Acadiana, blowout. Carr. Man, Bryce Brown just continues to do it. Westgate wins. Madison Prep, Sterlington overtime. Who was other overtime? It was
Washita Christian, also West Monroe.
Calvary. That was phenomenal.
Our friend Hunter Bauer tells us that Homer and Haynesville have not met in the playoffs since 1971. That was a state championship, and it ended in a tie.
And Homer, they played earlier in the year, and Homer, if I'm not mistaken, blew them out. And but those are 2 old story schools. And if you go back into the day, go back and look at a Struma back when they were like a AA team and playing Haynesville and Homer and Faraday and Vide and teams like that. Those are story traditions with Red Franklin, David Franklin. The son is continuing that tradition.
Haynesville was awful in the middle of the year. They were just getting skull drug.
Yeah. Let me pull up.
Oak Grove will have a chance to win the 1A title before they move up to 2A.
Yes. 2-time defending champ.
Who they got?
They're going to play Logansport, number 1 seed. I do not have that on Haynesville. I'm sorry.
E.D. White has not made it to the state title since 1981.
Coliseum, come to find out when we interviewed him earlier in the year, good friends with some people I'm good friends with, Jeff Lejeune, Hud Jackson, those guys. He played with all those guys same year. I didn't realize he'd been there, 13, 14 years.
His second stint as the head coach. And Not many people gave him a chance against Walker Howard and St. Thomas More.
No, I did. I'm one.
Everybody had St. Thomas More penciled in, other than the folks at E.D. White. They've allowed 51 points all season.
21 tonight. That's the most they've given up. The other was 19 to St. James.
Matt Melanson, Jeff Diedrich, two guys that are really good for him. Quarterback Jake Sternfeld. So it's going to be. I had U High tonight. We talked about U High, super talented. I think it's going to be a good game. I think E.D. White can match with them defensively.
Can E.D. You've seen them both. Can E.D. White score on U High?
That's going to be difficult. That's going to be difficult because U High can just throw so much at you. They come with a third down package. When you have to throw when U High feels like that you have to throw the football, they're taking some guys out. They're bringing almost, how Dave Arand had the cheetah package. They're bringing some guys in. They're bringing in Lil Moses and some of those other guys. Kid that's going to Purdue is really good. So it's going to be very difficult, but don't sleep on E.D. White.
Homer beat them 49-0 week 10.
Special guest coming in the studio next week. We can't tell you who it is, but stay tuned.
Thanks so much to Jake Martin from the Washington Citizen, Jerry Phillips from Warren Easton. We'll see you next week.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.